Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. My name is James Robertson. I am an equity specialist at Rochester Century High School in Rochester, Minnesota. I am a licensed social worker, certified life coach, certified trauma professional, and today I will be presenting on a critical and timely topic. Are we the problem? The case for institutional adverse childhood experiences, otherwise known as ACEs. This presentation will explore the impact of institutional practices on adverse childhood experiences within educational settings and propose pathways for fostering supportive and nurturing environments. And with that being said, let's begin. So let's start with an overview of today's agenda. We will begin with an introduction to the topic, followed by the research questions and the hypothesis. Then we'll delve into the literature review and theoretical framework. And after that, I'll discuss the methods and data collection strategies, present hypothetical data and findings, and finally, we'll cover future research directions and conclude with key takeaways. So let's begin with the introduction. So, understanding the prevalence and impact of adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, is crucial, particularly within an educational setting. ACEs can significantly affect a student's social emotional learning and any type of resilience that they may develop. This study aims to explore the intersection of ACEs and educational institutions to inform policies and also the current practices. We will introduce the concept of institutional ACEs and discuss how sociocultural and biological factors co-organize and influence student development. Educational institutions play a pivotal role in either perpetuating or mitigating these adverse experiences. But if we don't recognize them, then it's hard for us to be able to pinpoint exactly where we need to begin the work. Our research aims to revisit institutional standards and investigate their impact on the persistence of ACEs within those educational settings. We want to explore that intersectionality of ACEs within those demographic variables to get an understanding of those nuanced experiences of each of the students. Our hypothesis is that institutional ACEs can exacerbate existing ACEs or lead to the development of new ones. And this will negatively impact students' academic performance, mental well being, and increases their vulnerability to re traumatization. So, here are the research questions that we really want to dig into. Number one, do current institutional and academic standards and policies perpetuate ACEs? That's the first thing we want to know. And to what degree and effect might this occur? And that's question number two. The third question is, what intersections between ACEs and various demographics exist within institutions? Meaning, if ACEs is happening, then how is it affecting everyone across the board? Those are very important questions that we seek to understand and to move forward with in our study. The literature review highlights key studies that have shaped our understanding of ACEs. For example, the original Folletti and Anda study identified the correlations between childhood trauma and long-term health outcomes. And the Philadelphia ACE project in 2017 expanded this understanding, excuse me, to include community impacts. And recent studies by Rodriguez and Welsh and Clark explore how school discipline and psychological safety play roles in either contributing to or mitigating ACEs. McLaughlin et al. Emphasizes the importance of institutional support system for mental health outcomes, which seems to be almost at epidemic proportions across the world. So our study will involve a sample size of 150 to 300 students between the ages of 12 and 18 from diverse backgrounds. We will use what I call a customized ACE questionnaire, which is going to be made up of the Anda and Folletti study, which is what I call domestic ACEs, and the Philadelphia ACE Project study, which is what I call community ACEs. And then we're going to use a semi-structured interview guide in order to be able to get the best data and the best extrapolation that we can possibly get. And what we're going to use for the institutional ACEs input is something called the Panorama Survey, which is disseminated across our school district. And being able to use that, we're going to be able to put together all of the pieces to see where there is overlap and to see how these variables might take place amongst the participants. The procedures that we will use will include anything from recruitment to an initial questionnaire to be able to suss out those individuals that might not be right for the study. We're going to use focus group discussions just in case we need to really follow up and to really see what we can really do with this data in terms of how we put it together and how it makes sense for the study. For the most part, this study uses a mixed methods design, blending quantitative measures to assess the ACEs prevalence with qualitative interviews for deeper insights. We start with a simple baseline and a baseline assessment and using our customized questionnaire. And then what we want to do is we want to move to the focus group discussions and then get into the individual interviews in order to explore students' personal experiences a little more in depth. From what we understand, we anticipate finding significant associations between institutional ACEs and those negative outcomes like lower academic performance and higher psychological distress, and in some cases, some greater mental health challenges that we might not be able to detect with just by looking at our students. Our analysis will involve statistical methods such as t-test and chi-square test and logistic regression in order to uncover those patterns or find correlations that might be able to inform us a little bit more and give us a little more information about what it is we're actually seeing. Qualitative findings are anticipated to reveal the emotional impacts such as stress, anxiety, depression amongst those students. We expect to see challenges in academic performance, concentration, and social interactions are also to be expected. The importance of counseling and peer support groups will be highlighted as essential for mitigating these adverse effects. But not only that, but also connecting them to a caring adult, whether it be a coach or teacher or administrator, in order to be able to really have an impact against those adverse effects that they have experienced throughout their lives. Our future research should include longitudinal studies to track the long-term effects of ACEs on students and their academic performance and their personal development. Additionally, intervention studies are going to be crucial because once we uncover this, we need to know what to do about it. We want to be able to find something that's going to be effective in creating various support systems and trauma-informed practices that are going to be able to help uncover some of these things that we are discovering. These efforts can help us to be better supports for our students who are experiencing ACEs and also living with trauma. So, to wrap this up, in our conclusion, our study underscores the significant impact of institutional ACEs on student outcomes. There is an urgent need for new trauma-informed practices and more supportive school environments. By recognizing and addressing ACEs, we can improve student outcomes by simply creating a more nurturing learning environment. Continued research and thoughtful policy development are going to be essential to address these challenges effectively. Mary Helen Immordino Yang, she suggests that our biology and our sociology co-organize each other, which means that if you have a healthy environment, it will contribute to a healthy biology. And that's where we want to be. That's where we want to get to. We want to create spaces where kids can come in and be able to actually learn from the things and that they're being taught, and that they can actually develop in such a way where they are able to overcome some of the adversities that they'll experience as they continue to get older. This is something that's near and dear to my heart because it was something that I had longed for when I was a child. And I know that being able to effectively put these things into practice is going to yield huge results for those students now and for those to come. My name is James Robertson, and I want to thank you for listening to my presentation. Peace.